Hey, I'm Dr. Hannah, and today I'm going to talk to you about a few tools for nutrition that I think are so crucial to understand before we go into changing our diet or to trying a new pattern of eating. We often hear about these diets online, whether it's a paleo diet or a low carb and ketogenic diet, Mediterranean diet, vegan diet, and we hear about all the benefits of them. And I think it's really helpful in nutrition to understand that there are some core tenets that are true for everyone, even though different people might thrive on different diets. And so I want to talk to you about the things that I think are so important and probably most important to picking a nutrition plan that might work for you, and really talk about what order to think about them in. What's the order of most important to least important so that you can really understand what boxes you want to check before you do something more extreme like a ketogenic diet or a vegan diet. So step number one is food quality. And I feel this to be true regardless of the diet that you pick. The quality of food that you're eating within that diet plan is so important. We could do a ketogenic low carb diet on only processed food, or we could do a vegan diet eating potato chips all day, right? The food quality that we pick is important. We're gonna wanna have whole foods. We're gonna have minimized processed foods, and we're gonna want to have foods that are nutrient dense, meaning they have a lot of vitamins and minerals in them, including phytonutrients, which are beneficial nutrients that we can get from plants. Now, I think it's important to understand that when we're picking a diet, if we don't think about food quality, we can very easily walk ourselves into a way of eating that might look better on paper from a macronutrient breakdown or from a less inflammatory breakdown, but we're not getting those whole foods that are our core tenet for what humanity needs to thrive. So food quality is the first one. And then the second one after that would be food quantity. So really looking at how many calories you need to thrive today based on your activity level and your current height and weight. There are a lot of calculators online for this, and it's certainly something that you can ask your doctor about. But often if we go into one of these more extreme or specific diets without stopping to figure out how many calories or how much food we actually need, it can lead us to a place where we're trying a diet and we're eating half of the food that we need in a day and we can't stick to it, and we're wondering why we're trying to prevent ourselves from binging on sweets at night. It's because we're hungry. We haven't figured out how to fuel ourselves with this new way of eating. So food quality and then food quantity. The next section would be macronutrient breakdown. So this is the part where we're looking at how many carbohydrates do we need, how much protein do we need, and how much healthy fat do we need in order to create a diet that works for us. A lot of these more extreme diets will really focus in on high carb, low fat, or low fat, high carb. And if we haven't yet nailed down food quality and food quantity, going into these more extreme macronutrient ratios can be, I think, quite harmful. I think it's always best to try eating a regular whole foods diet that's non-processed at a caloric amount that you need before we try these extreme diets, unless it's something that you've been recommended by your physician. With that, I would say start with food quality, start with the amount of food that you need, and then look at skewing a macronutrient profile that might be a better fit for you genetically or with the chronic condition that you have. The next thing that I would look at is food timing. And this is where intermittent fasting comes in, is that often we'll try these extreme food timing diets where we're doing 24, 48-hour fasts. And we're really trying to optimize the benefits from fasting. And there are a lot out there that have been studied, and it's amazing what fasting can do. But if we're starting with fasting and we haven't looked at the food quality that we're eating when we are eating, we don't know how many calories we need on days that we're not fasting, and maybe we're eating too many or too little, the intermittent fasting can put a lot of stress on our body and not be the most helpful approach. I think out of everything that we can do, whether it's changing how much food that we're eating, we're changing what types of foods we're eating from a macronutrient breakdown, carbs, fats, and proteins, or we're changing the timing of food, it's really important to look at the quality first. And I find working with patients and hearing stories from friends and family members is that we often forget to look at quality and we go to all these other extremes. And it's really hard to optimize a diet without food quality. So I recommend starting there first, learning what food quality is, learning what types of fats are inflammatory and what types of fats are healthy in general for everyone. Learning what types of carbohydrates are going to be more processed, right? Like things with white flour versus things that might be more whole grain or non-processed. learning what types of proteins that we can eat that are going to be helpful, learning what protein is and what that looks like, learning how to get enough vitamins and minerals in our diet or the best that we can through food choice. And then I would focus on all the other pieces. Then I would focus on the amount of food, the macronutrient breakdown, the timing of food. And then the last would be taking a look at our diet and seeing, are we really getting all the nutrients that we need? And is there room for supplementation? Often we find Americans that are low in magnesium and vitamin D. Those are really common nutrient deficiencies or insufficiencies that we see in medicine. So taking a look, does our nutrition plan meet our needs there or our amount of activity outside? I hope this was helpful. As a reminder, know that food quality can be really challenging to understand. There are some nutritionists out there that will teach food macronutrients or food calories without teaching food quality, what whole foods are. And there is no question to me that any diet that we pick, food quality has to be a core tenet in order for it to work for someone long term and in order for it to be a healthier choice than where they are right now. So I hope this was helpful. If you haven't already, please subscribe. That would mean a whole lot to me. And look out for more nutrition content. If you're interested in sticking around, I'll have another video pop up here that you might like.